So I got the alternator cleaned up and bolted on, and I also did a power steering delete and an AC delete. That's where the AC went, and the power steering up here. And when you do that, you're gonna need a shorter belt, which is the one I have now, and this is the part number if you need it. I got it at AutoZone. So, and right now I'm just wrapping the headers, and I'll show you that right now. All right, this is the header. I used titanium wrap. All I did was wrap these two first, and I got it down to like right here. And I started from the back side all the way up. And once you reach right here, just start looping it around the middle one, and just clamp it down with some tie wraps, metal tie wraps. And what I'm gonna do now is just I'll coat them with flame-proof coating on the header, one pass of each, and those are the ones that I'm using. And once you got them painted, you should be good. I just finished installing transmission. I torqued all the bolts down, and just a little note, the two lower transmission bolts, I can't get them, they're like on this side. They go on through the back side, not like these, towards the back. And I'll put the torque, I just put an image so y'all can see the torque spec. And yeah, now I'm gonna take off the old gasket on the Kinetics intake manifold and just clean it up, and then apply the new one and get it ready to go on the motor itself. Alright, so I just got done getting all the residue of the old gasket off with this wire wheel. All I did was get a few passes all over the intake manifold, and just make sure to use gloves and a face shield, because some of these little pieces of wire shoot at you and it does hurt, so just be careful. So I just got done cleaning the intake manifold. Now I'm gonna clean the VVT solenoids, and I'm not just gonna clean the outside, I'm actually gonna take it apart. So all you need to do is take this 8mm bolt off and just pull it apart and clean the solenoid with mass airflow sensor cleaner, and just clean the screens on it, and then just put it back together and just put them on the motor, and you should be good. Got done putting my VVT solenoids on, and for these you don't have torque, just grab your ratchet from the head and just tighten it, and then once you feel them hand tight, you just go like the slightest, don't overdo it, just do it like the slightest, and you should be good. And now I'm gonna get ready to install my intake manifold, and right now I'm gonna record once it's already on. So I just got done torquing the intake manifold to 70 inch-pounds. I went in a sequence of 40 inch-pounds, 60 inch-pounds, and then the final pass 70. And I use this Allen wrench with a ballpoint tip to get the ones in the back. And originally this one was an L that came with the Kinetics kit, but I cut it off to use a socket to torque it. And yeah, looks clean. I just finished installing the camshaft and crankshaft position sensors. The passenger side camshaft sensor goes straight, and the driver side goes at an angle, and the crankshaft is below the transmission, and it also goes straight like the driver's side. Just don't get them confused. And I also did the fuel injector harness. This is the driver side and this is the passenger side. This is 1, 3, and 5. That's the firing order. And if just a quick note, I would do it without the intake manifold, so it won't be in the way and you won't have to be squeezing your hand in there. But I already got it clipped on, so I should be good. So guys, got ahead of myself and installed the engine and transmission. And I also tried to put it in with the long tube headers on, but they were just too wide. So on the driver's side, I had to take off the steering shaft so it could fit. And I also had to take off the long tube headers to install them when the engine was already inside, because they're just too wide. But they're already on there. And just a quick note, on the passenger side header, you need to take the starter off so you can reach one bolt at the end of it. And then I connected the wire harness, all the sensors, and I had to take the intake off because it was in the way on this side, because it does like a U-turn. The harness, it just does U-turn, so you need to have the intake manifold off. I would just take the wire harness like apart and just install it when the engine's outside, so it'll be easier. And yeah, I'll start recording once I get to something else. So guys, now I'm underneath the car. I'm gonna uninstall my drive shaft, and all I did was at the tip of it, I just cleaned it and lubricated the teeth. And to just put it in place, you have to take this bracket off, which is just a 10 and a 12 on each side. Bring it down and just slide it in. It should just slide in by itself, like you don't have to use that much force. And then just put the bracket on, and then I'm going to clean the differential to mount it on, because I don't want to mount it on dirty. So I'm going to do that, and I'll start recording once it's cleaned and bolted on. Okay, I'm going to get ready to do a cold start on the engine. And since I didn't have no ground, I had to rig up something for now just to see what happens. So I'm going to try to turn it on and see what happens. Installing my radiator core and bash bar, and right before I put in my radiator, I put this bracket that goes across the radiator core, right below the radiator core, and then I put my radiator, and there's two holes identical to this at the bottom. Just put those first, then just push your radiator front, put these locks and just twist them to lock them in place. And then I just put my engine strut, and I just found some ghetto ass bolts just to bolt it down for now. So guys, I'm underneath the car again. I'll put my clutch slave, and all you need to do is get this little nipple into the back of this. Make sure I get it, and just bolt it down and just torque it to spec, and it should be good. Alright guys, so when you want to bleed your Brembo brakes, you can't do it like any other car. Just release the nipple and press on the brake to release the pressure. I tried it and it failed, so I had to go to any auto parts store to get this brake bleeder. And all you do is get this end, attach it right here, and get the little gun. I just did 15 psi, and then I let it go down. I let it go down all the way to 0, and you should see this filling up. And just do that on all 4 sides, and just make sure to never let your reservoir go empty, because then you're gonna have to do another process. And this is the brake fluid I use for my car, DOC 3 fluid. And just do it, repeat it on all 4 sides, and you should be good.